All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. My name is Peter Rosenberg, and my man, Daniel Jacobs.
Yes, sir.
How are you, bro?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed, brother.
You got a fight this weekend.
Oh, yes, I do.
Saturday night, Barclays.
The big one, too.
This is for a title.
Yes, sir.
The WBA
Championship of the world.
Which weight class exactly?
Middleweight division.
The middleweight title. This guy you're up against.
Yeah.
He's Australian?
Australian cat, yeah.
How good is he?
He's pretty good. I mean, he's made his way to being #1 contender, so that says a lot for him. How good is he to face me Saturday night? We'll have to see.
You have one loss on your record,
yes.
right? How long ago was that?
This was maybe 4 years ago.
Does that change you because you obviously you're an exceptional athlete. Like anyone who makes it to this level has been one of the best athletes anyone ever knew from your time growing up. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Hey Chimer, will you get me a luxurious coffee as well? A little skim, little cream, little sugar. I just want to kick on my man. Any flavor you want, just regular, something good. Just get me going. So does the loss like that change you though? Like
it changes your perspective as far as being able to face adversity. I mean, I think any adversity that you face in your life or whatever it is that you do, it just makes you that much stronger. To see the bottom, to be able to know what it's like, to know you want to reach the top, it's that extra motivation that it gives you. So I'm a little wiser now. 4 years later, I'm a lot stronger.
But
and things are different.
But if you've never lost professionally, obviously everyone falls in love with that zero.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
You gotta love that zero.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, come on. So does it hurt the next day when you wake up and see the one? Like, is it just to know that there'll never be the zero again?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It sucks because, when you first turn pro, you think you're going to be this undefeated superstar that's, going to make millions and trillions of dollars and, never have a loss. But when you realize that it's a loss, it just brings you to reality and lets you know that you got a lot more to work for.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting to see what fighters do once the zero goes away.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's part of the reason I tune into every Floyd fight, right?
Yeah.
Is to see if that one ever shows up.
I think that's his claim to fame. I mean, he's one of the greatest of our generation, but I think he's so in love with that O.
That O.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. So if somehow he loses the O,
yeah.
What do you think? How do you think a guy like Floyd would respond to the O?
Man, I think his whole world come crashing down. A guy like that who takes pride in having no losses. 44 have tried. None have succeeded. That's his quotes. But I think that a guy like Floyd, I think all the money that he has and all his possessions, I think a loss probably be his worst defeat.
And I just always wonder what then happens. You take a guy like my favorite fighter of all time, Mike Tyson, and who made it to 37-0, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at what happened after the zero went away, and his record since then was I forget what it ended up being overall, something like 12-6 or something.
Yeah.
Just, it wasn't right, and not even that he was obsessed with the O as much as Floyd is. 'Cause I don't think Mike was as obsessed with it, but it's just sort of when the mystique goes away, how you respond to that is, I think, what defines a fighter's legacy.
And it does, yeah. It defines a champion. I mean, every fighter is going to take a loss eventually. I mean, when Floyd was an amateur, he lost numerous times, but it's all about that experience. It's all about being able to be diverse, being able to accept that loss and come back after that. All the greats, Sugar Ray Robinson, everybody had a loss, but the loss to me, I think all the greats are, to be able to be called a great, you have to have a loss because you have to have something to overcome.
Of course. How's your health, first of all?
Oh, my health is 100%. Thank you.
You are good money.
Good money, yeah.
When was the last time you dealt with any health issues?
Well, I went to go get a checkup maybe about 8 months ago.
And you were clean?
Yeah, all was well, yeah.
What kind of illness, what was the illness that you had?
Before I had, a couple years ago, I suffered from osteosarcoma, which is a very rare bone cancer.
And there was a point when people didn't know what would happen to you.
Yeah.
And then while you're recovering, they start building the Barclays Center.
Yeah.
And now here you are. You've already fought and won there once. And now you get to have a second fight for the WBA middleweight championship of the world.
Yeah.
Right in your hometown.
Yeah.
How many people, how many tickets does one have to get for the hometown fight in Brooklyn?
Man, my phone has been blowing up nonstop from people asking for tickets. But no, it's cool. I'm in a good position now. My health is 100%. Now we have this amazing opportunity to fight for the WBA championship. championship. And if I was to win, God willing, I'll be the first ever cancer survivor to be a world champion. So that for me that's huge.
That's a big deal.
Absolutely.
That's a really, really big deal.
Yeah.
What do you think this, I mean, I know it's hard to talk objectively about yourself, but what do you think the ceiling is for you? Thanks, Janae.
I don't think there is a ceiling, man. I think sky's the limits for me, you know. And I kind of look at myself as a movie, you know. I just sit back and just watch everything unfold, you know. I think God has allowed me to have this amazing, incredible story to be able to affect so many people all over the world. You know, I don't want to be the greatest boxer of all time. I don't want to make the most money. But, you know, what I do have is an incredible story that can impact so many people throughout the world. And to me, that's more important.
What would you say, is there one particular moment that you can pinpoint during that time and say was the lowest point for you?
Whew. So many.
Or was it just a series of low points?
It was so many. Well, initially they hid the fact that it was cancerous because when the tumor that was wrapped around my spine, it kind of cracked my spine, so it left me partially paralyzed, and I had to learn how to walk again. And during that process, they thought it would have been too much for me to, you know, let alone, you know, be cancerous and have to go through these treatments. So they let me know afterwards, so that was kind of cool. But at the most part, overall everything was hard. I remember being quote unquote on my deathbed and just thinking about it, just crying, you know, saying to myself, my career is over, my life is over, and looking pretty much death in the eyes, man.
I mean, when you say that, when you were in that situation, did people actually think you might not make it back at all?
Absolutely. See, what happened was initially when I first started feeling the symptoms of my legs losing its feelings and losing my nerves, I went to the doctor and they told me it was a pinched nerve because they didn't want to give me an MRI. They said it wasn't too severe. So in my mind, I started going on. Weeks upon weeks went past, and it was getting worse. But even still, I was like, you know, I didn't really know what was going on because all I knew that it was a pinched nerve. So I said eventually it'll get better over time with the pills that they gave me. And it didn't. It only got worse. It only got worse until I was, you know, pretty much paralyzed completely in a wheelchair. And then that's when they gave me an emergency MRI. Now they wanted to give me an MRI. You know, I had to come back in the wheelchair. And they realized that I had this massive tumor. And the doctor said that the tumor was growing at such a rapid pace that I came in on a Friday. He said if you'd have waited over the weekend and came in on a Monday, you probably wouldn't have made it because the tumor was growing so fast it would have slowed your heart down. Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you able to always remember the feeling of not being able to move?
Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you why. Doctor said I would never be able to get my nerves back 100%, and that is true. I still have like my left toe. It's like my pinky toe. It's still kind of, you know, that tingling feeling, that pins and needles, like all day, every day. So.
And if you try to move it, you cannot?
No, I still can't move it. So for me, that's the indication. For me, I look at that as like, you know, for me not to be able to get my nerves back in my toe is kind of like always an indication to know that I'm blessed and that, you know, I'm on this earth for a reason.
Is there anything you have to have special concerns about given your health history when you're in the ring, or nothing, just the same as any other fighter?
No, it's just I'm pretty much all good. The doctors was worried because of the extent of the surgery that I had. I got a 6-hour surgery on my spine, and they had to, you know, do some things to my spine to put it back together. So that was the worry. But I'm 100%. You know, I've taken damage, I've taken shots, and I'm good. You know.
Do you watch UFC as well?
Yeah, I do.
Do you ever feel? Sometimes I feel like I'm a bit conservative when it comes to this, but no matter how good a job I feel that referees do.
Yeah.
I feel that in UFC more so than boxing, and maybe it's just the level of impact and the size of the gloves, but I just feel like fights are stopped late a lot.
Big time.
Don't you?
I think at UFC most of all. I think,
more than boxing, I think.
Absolutely.
And I'm always shocked. Like, I remember I was at a bar recently, and there was just a random fight on TV, you know, like one of those random free UFC fights. And I can't even say UFC. It might have been a different MMA company. But I could not believe how many shots the guy took And maybe I'm applying boxing rules, but to me, it's like if you're accepting punishment and no longer returning, to me, that's a stoppage.
That's a clear indication.
And I know it's not always pretty to the audience, and they're going to boo it first, but when you're watching at home, it's like plain as day. You have the same feelings?
Absolutely. I think sports nowadays, I think with the general public have gotten so demanding, whereas they want more violence. So I think that, you know, the sports, contact sports have gotten more into the feeling of just, you know, catering to the fans. And that's why you have delayed stoppages, because the fans wants to see more blood. The fans wants to see more damage, which sucks. But, I mean.
Now, even for yourself, can you be objective and say, you know, that if you were involved in the fight and you went back and watched a tape, do you think you could be like, if they stopped a fight on you and it was maybe only 5 seconds, but during those 5 seconds you were getting blasted and not returning, can you say that you would still want the ref to stop it for your sake as well?
I would respect that. I mean, if I'm getting damage, if I'm having damage taken to me and I'm not responding, no matter if it's 5 seconds, because that 5 seconds be 5 seconds too late.
That's what I'm saying.
It could be one punch that can end your whole life and career. So, I mean, I respect the judges stopping fights early. If they see, I mean, there's some cases where fights are stopped too early, but I feel like all referees should be experienced in the fact when they should know when to stop a fight.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to err on the side one way or the other, as annoying as it is, you'd rather have them be too early than too late.
True.
Every time. Because too late is a nightmare.
Too late is too late, yeah.
So where are you on the card on Saturday night? When are you fighting?
It's a triple header. That'll be live on Showtime, and I'm the first bout that'll be on TV.
So you're the first TV bout this weekend.
Yeah.
Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. Tickets are still available.
Absolutely.
Don't, you know, if you're seeing this video, let me say this. If you're a friend, a supposed friend of this man, and you're not contacting him until you see this video, just go buy a ticket, man. Let this guy live. 'Cause I mean, I can't imagine. Do people hit you day of?
Listen, people hit you day of. People hit you the day before, the week before. People hit me constantly for free tickets, and I'm just like, just go buy a ticket. They're starting at $25. You can do that.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
So how many people do you end up having to look out for?
Oh man, you know, I only take care of my family, but you know, you have your friends.
So you draw a line at family?
Absolutely, yeah. Family is the only one that I would support and give free tickets to. Other than that, I feel like everyone should be able to support me.
Now, do you have the option where you can tell friends, hey, I can hook you up so you can buy good tickets?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I do that.
Like, I'll link you up with a promoter. You can buy the best tickets available.
Absolutely.
But you draw the line at your family.
Yeah.
So who from your specific immediate family will be there on Saturday night?
It'll be my son, it'll be my girlfriend, my mom, my dad, you know, different siblings. Everybody's going to be there.
How does the girlfriend handle your fights? She cool?
She's a fanatic. She loves it.
Really?
Yeah, she don't like to see me get punishment, obviously, but especially my son. I think my son is my biggest fan in the whole world. He loves boxing. No, but I'm just talking about the sport in general.
How old is he?
He's 5 years old.
Okay.
He can tell you about old school boxing. He can tell you about new school. He can tell you about every boxer in the world right now. He loves it, but everyone will be there supporting me.
Will you encourage your son to box?
So I think it's too late.
You think he already?
I think he already he adopted it already. He's in the gym with me. He knows the moves. He switched from orthodox to southpaw. He got the moves, man.
Oh, at 5 years old.
At 5 years old, it's unbelievable.
What's your son's name?
Nathaniel.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, wait, hold on. Before we let you go, you said you also have a very special. You are originally from Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York. You have a very special ring intro that I would appreciate. What do you have going down?
I got the massive, the big time MOP.
Whoa.
Mash Out Posse coming through and they're performing Annie Up. You know, it's only right. And I think it signifies a lot to it. It's representing, you know, you might come and take that belt, the WBA, Annie it up, you know, give it to me. So they're going to come out and perform, and it's going to be historical.
Yo, that is going to be amazing. Shout out to MOP. They're about to drop a new record, too, and they'll be doing Annie Up live at the Barclays Center this Saturday night when my man Daniel Jacobs competes for that WBA middleweight championship of the world live on Showtime. We appreciate you. Brooklyn, stand up, represent. Good luck, brother.
Yes, sir.
You know what it is. Real 8 Hot 97.